Hello, hope you're doing well today. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do the behind the scenes video along with a couple of sneak peeks. So we're going to be going over kind of a little bit of my process on how I make these videos. And so yeah, let's just jump into it. Right then, of course, what's on the screen now is the Paladin's Revenge video, the Goddess Had Bet. If you haven't seen it, this is probably one of my favorite ones. To give you kind of give you an idea of this channel, originally it was going to start off to be kind of a D&D joke channel song, doing D&D joke songs, and then it kind of changed into this story channel, right, where we started trying to do reveal my stories that I have. I have several books that I'm writing on D&D. I've been a dungeon master for well over 20 years. Playing D&D, for at least 24 years, I think, 25, something like that. Anyway, yeah, so I have a lot of information to pull from for this, and then I have the 3 books that I'm writing, and they are, they're basically the same book, but 3 different groups, each one on a different continent, and then the end of each book is the, where they all end up in the same place at the same time. I don't want to reveal too much. But anyway, back in June, I decided to have this idea for this channel, and I figured I needed to go ahead and create several videos before I got the before I even launched the channel, right? Make sure they were all done and ready to go, and that I could have a decent. That way, I could continue making them while the ones I already had created were releasing, so that I would be able to have a consistent release schedule. But unfortunately, the workflow takes a little while. And I wasn't able to keep up with the workflow on the release schedule I'd set for myself. So the videos have slowed way down. Yeah, so anyway, we have 3 videos left for this season. And then I'm going to start going back to doing some joke videos in between the seasons while I'm gearing up for season 2 and trying to get that all straightened out. I know a lot of people don't like AI, but Sora is animating my characters. For the most part, you know, there are side characters and stuff that aren't important that I'll go ahead and let AI make. But the Paladin, the Bard, the Rogue, all of those are my characters that I've made throughout the years. And I've drawn myself, and then I put them into a program to animate them and get them colored and stuff. But Sora has a cameo feature that was allowing me to keep them pretty consistent. Not always, you know, it has its issues, but they all do, right? But Sora was one of the best ones out there, especially for faster animations. And I haven't found any program really that can make it look like this, like the older animation style that I like. I grew up with Dragon Ball Z, you know, Toonami, watching those kind of stuff. So that's the style that I like. I already recorded this video once, and by the time I was done editing and stuff, it was 14 minutes long. I was like, that's too long, so we're redoing it, trying to make it a little more concise and short here. Alright, so if you've seen the Wizard Burned Us All song, that's the very first song I started with. That's the song I was learning Suno with. So the lyrics are written by me, and then I have Suno sing them. But that said, when I was learning with the Wizard Burned Us All song, I leaned a little hard on AI for that one while I was learning. And I was working with AI and watching other people's how-to videos and stuff like that. And then playing around with it and making different songs in Suno and just playing with the sounds. And so one of the early things AI came up with I didn't like was like we gathered around the table rolling dice of the night, a fighter with a sword, shining armor so bright, right? It just on and on here, you can kind of see this. I'm not going to go over it too much, but I was like, oh, this is not great. So we reworked it, and eventually ended up with the song that we had. So then we ended up with these lyrics. I'm going to just play a moment of the song in case you haven't heard it.
Stood there all smug and tall, pulled his spell book out, I'll end this fast, he said. We trusted him to save the day in this cramped dungeon where foul beasts play. Overrun and trapped inside, we trusted him to decide. Words of power, then fire let fly over and over. Now our fighters toast, and we might die. Oh, wizard, why'd you burn us all? We trusted you to stall, not to be our fall.
this song was this song and a lot of the other songs I had made was originally kind of like a storyboard format. Let's see if I can find one of those, and or it was just kind of like an image that would pan and zoom on and maybe have some animation going across the screen. That was the original idea, just to have something a little different, a little more exciting on the screen besides just one image and some text. But yeah, AI helped a lot with the song. You can tell when you listen to it and stuff. And the direction with the song is different than the one we have now, where the bard and the paladin, we're getting the bard and paladin's point of view on the story. And this one didn't really have a point of view. It was just kind of singing about the characters. So yeah, I went in and changed up a bunch of stuff because a lot of the way that AI wrote this was terrible. So I changed a bunch of it. But you can definitely hear the AI influence in it, and it's probably still maybe 40 or 50% AI. So it's not amazing. And I'm reworking this one into another video as well. But yeah, so the future of this channel right now, we may do some backstories. This may be part of season 2 instead. We're still thinking about that one. And then we're gonna have episode 1 technically isn't out yet, right? Like I said, this changed direction partway through, but I didn't want to hold up the whole series, and so I just started putting stuff out because they're all standalone videos anyway. That they do go together, but they're also standalone. It's kind of what I wanted it to be. Each song has a beginning and ending for a reason, and then but they do go in a certain order. So episode 1 is technically not out yet. So anyway, we're gonna do episode 1, and then we need to do the adventure that, when the paladin shows up and everybody's saying the adventurers are good, they've helped us, why are you doing this to them? We need that adventure as well to kind of bridge the gap there, because I think the one we have right now is them saving a town, but then getting kicked out of the town after saving it. So because the greed of the Lord that ends up hiring the paladin to go and kill them. And then we have 2 videos as well: the remake of the Fireball song, and then the sequel to the Fireball song, which is the adventure where they save towns. Why the paladin doesn't have any powers, and it's based on a specific adventure. Here's the map I was able to make for it in Dungeon. There's a cool program called Dungeon Draft where you can make maps and stuff. Since I've had to move to playing D&D online with my group, I use this to make maps for us now, and we throw them into Owlbear Rodeo, which is really cool. The stuff you can do, line of sight and things like that in Owlbear Rodeo. But anyway, we can show you that in another video if you really want to see that. But this is one of the maps it's based off of. This is the adventure where they go through the sewers, find demon undeads and stuff like that, and work their way around to the summoning circle. So we'll see that in the videos. And real quick, before we jump into how I make the lyrics and stuff like that, we'll go ahead and give you a preview of the remake of the Fireball song. So we can try and stay as focused on one subject as possible instead of jumping around like my brain likes to do, which I may have already done that a lot in this video. We don't know, but anyway. So this will be a sneak peek here for you real quick of the, you kind of heard what the Fireball song sounded like before. This is what it's going to sound like now.
Demons crawling from the sewers, chaos in the streets, townsfolk screaming and running, terrified. We spring into action, cutting demons down. The guards beg us to find the source. Down into the sewers, darkness all around, wishing for my divine powers, but they're gone. I could banish all these demons with a single prayer, but I broke my oath when I joined this band. The bard says my power comes from deep within, but I don't see how my goddess granted it to me. Down in the sewers, demons everywhere, guards lock the door behind us, trapped down there, fighter by my side, we're cutting through the swarm. Deeper into darkness we go, pushing ahead. I stand on the front line, blade against the horde, but without my powers, I'm just a sword.
All right, so that's just a short preview of the remake I'm working on. And that's the difference between allowing AI to help you with your lyrics and writing your lyrics yourself. So, and if you want to know my music background, I guess we can go over that for a second. You know, a little bit about my music background. In high school, I used to play the drums. I used to go over to a friend's house and I'd play the drums while they played the guitars. And that's how I kind of got into music. And then I've written several songs before this. I can't say rewritten is more the right word, I guess. They're satires, not really parodies because they're not making fun of the song. They're basically rewriting someone else's song, kind of like how Weird Al does. I loved Weird Al growing up, right? I used to listen to all this stuff. A lot of his songs are still in my music playlist that I listen to often. But anyway, so I like to rewrite songs into satires. Some of the more recent ones I can think of that I've done would be like Pterodon Avenue, which is a satire of Electric Avenue. And then Cupid's Chokehold, I think is what that song is called. I did anyway, I did a satire of that, like I turned it into Zombies Chokehold. Anyway, so I've been working with song structures for a while. So, and the Fireball song helped me learn how to write for Suno, which I will show you. And so what I do is go into my book, and then I make a short summary of what's written in the book, and I put it in the Google Doc or type it out into a short summary that I can then look through and decide how to turn it into a song. So you kind of go through, and then I come down and start writing it into a song. And then, of course, I can go over and look at my template that I made for Suno. I have some rules here at the top for using it. And then the design, the way it likes you to enter your words and stuff. So if we go over here and show you that, where was that one at? This one, you can see here where we've written the lyrics in here and previous one, and then using the little different notes and stuff. But let's see, if we go to create, show you how it works. I always use advanced. I think that's why I started on advanced. You can add the voice profile you want. I have one for the bard and one for the paladin. It doesn't work. Their personas don't work great. Oftentimes I have to go to the song that the persona was built off of and do a cover for it to get the exact voice right. And then use the persona feature to build out the song with the sound that I like. Because if you do a cover, it just repeats the song you had before, the same pacing and stuff, so it gets kind of difficult to time it all. So it takes some work, takes some trickery to get the persona right and sound right with the music that you've made. So then I take it to another program and combine it and make sure it's all timed right. Then you put the styles in here. Just where you put the lyrics. I guess you could do simple, and I guess you give it a description here. I've never tried this. I don't know if this comes out good or not, but I wouldn't trust it to write something good. And then, you have different options here. But this isn't really about how to use Suno, so we'll move on. So pull the music out of Suno and break it into stems, then we bring it into our DAW here, and we can edit the sounds to make them better. We can remove some of the harsh sounds and add in some sounds, and we can change a few things in here. And then what I like to do, we'll probably use Premiere for the visual purposes here, because this is easier, and it also gives you kind of a preview of the video. All right, oftentimes there's some sounds or instruments I don't like that I'll rebuild in MIDI and remove them from the song and put in my own. For the purposes of this the sequel to the Fireball song here, we can we'll listen to their drums here real quick. Right, so the drums, this is okay, not amazing, but okay. So I went into BandLab and rebuilt this, and you have an electronic keyboard that I can use for playing the different instruments with. We'll go back for just a second, and let's mute that and bring in my drums here that I rebuilt for this. Alright, so you can kind of hear the difference, and this is definitely better than what Suno had created for me. Alright, but if we listen to it, but I do still kind of like it. The other one, once I add in the other one, it gets a nice effect with the deeper drums. Together they make a decent effect. And so this time I probably won't remove this drum, so I'm going to end up combining them, right, and putting them in the video together. So All right, so I'm working on the bass for this right now. This is what I had made, but it doesn't really work with the song. I want to throw it in here to show you, you know, so you can do some cool stuff with MIDI, but this doesn't really work with this song, so I won't be using it with it. But so I'd still have to work on that. So anyway, I'm still finalizing some sounds, which takes a little while. So that's the audio part, right? But then the visual part where we use Sora, like I was telling you, we got the cameos. So I have 13 characters on this one. In Sora, you can create characters, and then you give cameos. I wish I could show you, but Sora has shut down, which is unfortunate because I was going to show you in this video. But you can come in here and you can add your right. So you can add in your cameo characters, which actually allows you to combine multiple characters together. I think Sora can support up to 7 on the screen at one time, which it says it can support it. If you do more than 2, it really doesn't work very well. But yeah, so that's how we're able to get things like this, right? Like I said, some things it doesn't do great. And as you can tell, Sora wasn't working super great near the end before they shut it down. The gens were getting worse and worse. So oftentimes it also generates something where you might only get 3 seconds out of it, and they may not be the same 3 consistent seconds. You may have to get 1 second here, 1 second there, 1 second at the end, something like that. You know, do like what? What's going on in the scene? They didn't follow my prompts at all. And so another thing about this workflow was to prompt it once you had your images you wanted. You can come in and prompt it. Where did I put Suno in here, or Sora, not Suno? Okay. So yeah, so to prompt Sora, you need to do a descriptor, a scene, and then the style, and of course put your characters in there as well, your cameos in there as well. And then eventually they came out with a cool feature that was storyboard. They call it storyboarding. If you actually use it like that and you put in some examples of what you wanted, if it didn't match the exact style that you had listed for your video, it would change the style, which wasn't great. So one of the things you can do, which this is going to look really horrible, but it works really well, is you can draw like this for the storyboard. And this is the paladin looking over his shoulder, walking down the street, right? And you give it the correct descriptors along with this, and it understands this and doesn't try to add any styles. It just tries to put the paladin in these spots, right? The paladin walking down the street at night with his back to us, and then the bard looking out the window as the paladin is leaving. And that gave us, right, by doing that storyboard with our cameos, we were able to get this, which was almost, I think 100% of this video was usable. All right, I don't think there was anything too off on this one. So you can see the cameo, or the storyboard did well there. It doesn't always, but it did there. Some things were still really hard to get, so I had to fight with Sora to get. But anyway, and then we bring all the shots into Premiere and edit them together into an interesting way, and time it with the music, and we'll take pieces from, you know, each shot that was enough of, you know, usable, and then combine it with other shots that were usable to try and put together something cohesive that looks well, like kind of like this here. These shots were not at the same time as some things had to be flipped around to make a match. But yeah, right. And real quick sneak peek of we'll call it Fireball 2, because it's not what it's going to be called, but it is the continuation of the first Fireball song. This is probably one of the few that's going to be a 2-parter in this series that, you know, doesn't just stand alone. But
we're back from the dead, healed up and feeling fine. The city sewers are crawling with demons, something's crossed the line. This isn't natural, the cleric says, looking way too calm. Someone's summoning them in, we need to find the source. So back into the caves we go, down into the dark. The cleric steps up first this time, let me leave my mark. Holy light erupts from his hands, demons start to flee, banishing them left and right until he's out of energy. He steps back with a tired grin. Your turn, have some fun. The wizard cracks his knuckles. Finally, I've got this one. Fire and lightning fill the cave, blasting demons down. I didn't fight to charge while I enhanced the sound.
That was a little sneak peek there. I was still working on the sound, of course. Now, when we were creating our characters, our bard, the bard has been one of the characters. The bard and the paladin have been characters that I've created throughout different video games that let me create custom characters. So we'll go ahead and show you the bard real quick. This is the one of the early iterations of the bard from when I played Skyrim. Another one over in Morrowind, another one in EverQuest 2, and so on, right? Throne and Liberty, different games like that. And then this is probably one of the earliest iterations of the bard. When I was, I think, 10th grade, I drew this one. Anyway, my drawing style is based off of Dragon Ball Z. I used to draw a lot of Dragon Ball Z, and when I'm, sitting in that class, supposed to be taking notes. But so anyway, this is some of the other art I've done that was preserved over the years. I've done a lot of art, but not much. I don't have much of it left. A lot of it got ruined when I lived in Florida during hurricanes, so that was fun. So yeah, this is some of the stuff that I still have preserved. So yeah, these are kind of the early iterations of the bard here. You can see this is kind of the armor and stuff I wanted the bard wearing. Then a close-up of the bard's face here, and then this is what the first. This is one of the things AI try to make with it. So you can see we're kind of getting there, right? AI's getting there, and this is some of the earlier AI stuff I try to do with my pictures as well. It's just not quite right, and then eventually we got it to this, which is very close to my creation, almost exact actually. It added a few flare things on the armor, but the boots, the face, the hair, everything is just about right. I don't know what it did with the ear here, but it is what it is. And then of course, then we had to, this was the original kind of style I was going with for the characters. And if you want to see more of the characters, we can do another video. Like I said last time, I had to try and shorten this because it was 42 minutes before, so hopefully this one's a lot shorter. Anyway, if you want to see more of those characters in future videos, let me know in the comments below. Yeah, so this is kind of the format I originally started with for the videos. And you can still see this formatting kind of in this song as well. Wasn't able to replace all of the things with Sora animations, but you can kind of jump through this. You can kind of see the early iterations of this video here. And then I was able to take some of this into Sora and use it as... So I was able to use this kind of like a storyboard in Sora to get some of the animated scenes and stuff correct. Right, and so in between the seasons, we're going to do joke songs, right? And they're going to be based off of the D&D games I've played. So one of the joke songs I've been working on, this isn't quite done, right? Right, but we've built out the subtitles in Premiere and used After Effects for the waveform. This isn't necessarily, I don't know if I'm going to go with this image or do a different image, but most likely the joke songs would just be a still image like the other channels, just for speed purposes. So here's kind of a sneak peek of one of the joke songs based off of my first adventure where I was a player and as a ranger.
Our ranger saw a goblin, said, "I'll end this fight." Charged in with his weapons, feeling oh so right. He rolled his D20 looking for that hit, but the dice said nah, and he ate some shit. He rolled a 1, tripped and fell right at the goblin's feet. Oh well, rolled a 1 on his back, about to take a goblin axe attack. The druid panicked, I'll save the day, cast and tangle but got in the way. He rolled a 1, yeah, he rolled a 1.
Yeah, that was a little sneak peek of one of the jokes I'm going to be putting out here after season 1 is completed. All right, I'm probably gonna have to cut a lot out of this video just because, yeah, it's probably gone on for a long time, and I want to just like talk to you guys and share so much with you, but I don't want the video to be too long that you don't actually watch it. So at the same time, yeah. So I'll probably cut this down a lot. Now there are some other ideas and stuff I've been playing around with. Like I have some League of Legends songs, right, and some other video game songs, and I have some Murderbot trailer songs and stuff like that. I've been also doing some Bigfoot videos and some alien videos if y'all want to see those. So just give you kind of an idea.
off, smoke on the breeze. Time to investigate, put my mind at ease. That's right. Found them humans camping in the little tent. Called me a smell, Lord, it's heaven sent.
Alright. If you're interested in those kind of videos as well, let me know. Because if I put them on the channel, it might destroy my metrics. So it's unfortunate the way the algorithm works with YouTube. I can't want you to niche down and not like jump out and just put all the stuff you enjoy on there. So alright, but yeah, I'm working as fast as I can to get these next set of videos out to you. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. Have an awesome day.